Hey everybody, this is V, and I wanted to touch base with you about why that thing right over there is going to be one of your most important assets when you are going to be doing some cargo hauling in 3.18. And that's because it provides intelligence. Gone are the days in 3.18 when you're just going to kind of lazily log on, just run down to the refinery, or just turn off your proxcom over there, turn off your global communication, and you're just going to kind of happily just fly wherever and do whatever. So you're really going to want to utilize that tool right over there as one of your most important intelligence gathering operations when you first join a server. It's not a bad idea to maybe, when you first log on, take a few minutes and kind of look at what's happening. Take a look and see if there's, maybe some kind of argument happening or where people are salty. It's going to be an excellent intelligence gatherer. Now, I'm not necessarily suggesting going as far as actually typing in and asking, has anybody, seen a quantum interdiction bubble or that type of thing, but you might consider doing that. That being said, just 4 or 5 minutes of just watching the chat when you first log on is going to give you a pretty good indication of kind of what might be happening in and around the server, especially if there's a quantum interdiction bubble. You could potentially pick up on that fairly quickly. So that's going to be kind of step one, right? So if we're talking about you just logged on, it's 318, and you have a Quantanium that's been refined and you're ready to haul it, or you just want to go on and out and do some hauling, trading, those types of things, you're going to want to use that thing right there. I have for so long just logged on and turned that thing off. But it's one of those things where we're going to have to get used to it. So that's step one. I think when you log on and you're kind of prepping yourself and deciding what you want to do, don't turn that thing off over there. Just leave it on for a moment. Keep an eye on it and just take a look and see if something's going on. It could be a very important intelligence tool. One of the second things you're going to want to do is just go ahead and open up your proxcom. Now here you might take a look at who's on the server with you. You can see active members, 105 of 104 or whatever, 108, right? Go ahead and just kind of scroll down. Now you probably aren't going to recognize the vast majority of these names. And I'm not saying that you are going to know anybody who's on here. But what I can tell you is as reputation, I'm not talking about in-game reputation, but I'm talking about out-of-game reputation. People, as pirates become more and more infamous, if you will, you might recognize their name. If it's somebody who's pirated you before, you might recognize their name. It's a good idea for any pirates that you run across for you to at least kind of keep an eye on them. Now, this isn't necessarily something that's going to be available long-term when server meshing's in play, but certainly when 3.18 comes out, this is going to be an excellent way for you to at least see if you can identify someone who is a known pirate. Like if you have a list or you have a name of people who pirate, it's never a bad idea to at least look here, you know what I mean, and see if somebody is on that you recognize as a known pirate. And of course, there are certainly ways where you can take a look at what members are part of what kind of infamous pirate groups, but, and this may or may not necessarily, these two things combined may or may not give you an indication of kind of what's happening out there. But I can tell you that one of the things about pirates, of course, and everybody probably could tend to agree there a little bit, is they're not always the best at not saying things in global when they're, putting a hurt on somebody. They very much want, part of piracy is it requires a victim. And so many times there's an unprofessionalism about it or whatever, just where you just want to rub it in and you start saying things to somebody and they start saying things back. So if you watch the chat, you may pick up on some things that, that indicate to you that there's some things going on in the server you don't like. If you take a look at who's on the server with you, never a bad idea. The next thing to do is going to be pretty obvious. And so let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit. If you've logged on for a little solo play, ran the wrong way there, a little solo play, and you have went ahead and you've watched the chat for a while, and you're going to want to keep the chat up. I hate to say that, but it's something it's going to be one of your biggest indicators. But the next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to find a ship potentially to just go do a little scouting, at least in your local area. So in this particular case, I think I'll just go ahead and grab the Drake Cutlass Red. Go do a little scouting. Go take a look. So if I was going to be heading over to, say, Arc Corp, it's an important thing to understand that, hey, I can definitely hangar one, we'll head over there, and we'll just kind of go out and fly around the station a little bit. The first things first, you want to see if anybody's around that's going to cause you problems. So you're monitoring comms. You've kind of already taken a quick look on who's on the server. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that information has a shelf life, but these are little things that you're going to want to start understanding that things are changing a little bit, and it's hard to say exactly. We're certainly pre 3.18. It's hard to say exactly how they're going to change entirely, but the first couple of weeks, I would recommend that you kind of get into a little bit different state of mind, and why it's important to do, because you don't want to just kind of randomly assume that things are going to be how they were. So here we are. We just kind of grabbing something like a Cutlass Red or whatever to go out and do a little scouting. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is fire up the engines and get out of this place. And so looks like the last time I was here, I wasn't able to get a post flight done. So let's go ahead and see if we can. Yeah, no service. Okay, no problem. So if we know we're going to be heading from Arc L1 to Arc Corp, it's never a bad idea to go ahead and just do a straight run. Go ahead, do a straight run. Now keep in mind that just because you're going out here scouting, it's not going to be a perfect indicator, but it's never a bad idea to kind of get out here, buzz on out, pull up your gear, and take a look at who's around here. Let's go ahead and let's we don't necessarily want to. See if we can Alt-T, is that right? Yeah. We might want to just V-scan somebody, right? Oh, that person jumped, okay. But let's go ahead and look around at the different ships that are out here. There's another ship, right? So let's go ahead and give it a scan. Never a bad idea. You can see that as Blazin, 812, and he is in... he's flying. That's an Argo Mole right there. So good thing to do. Take a look. You can see that there's a lot of information you can glean from this type of thing here, right? Blazin, his UEE, his health, the mass, his signatures, and then look at this stuff over here. Just basics about the ship, that type of thing. He's got a Hurricane. So he doesn't have an XL1 drive, for instance. Good thing to know. That type of thing. So... yeah, man. There's good information here. And using your scans is an important thing. And I can tell you, quite honestly, that kind of doing this, looking around the station, seeing, if it's quiet or not, is an important thing to do. So from here, if we know we're going to be heading towards Arc L1, and I would of course recommend one of the next things to talk about. So we've talked about monitoring communications. We've talked about looking to see who's on the server. Now we've talked about kind of getting out on scout ship, and doing a little scouting. We know that when we're doing our cargo run, from Arc L1 to Arc Corp, right? We're going to, of course, jump towards Arc L5 or Mike L5 first. That would be my recommendation. Or CRUL4 first. Mix it up. CRUL3 first. Right? Mix it up. Head here first. Or head here first. Or head here first. Or head here first. Or head here first. In these directions, right? You can do that kind of stuff. And that way, you know, your angle of approach to ArcCorp isn't just this lazy one. In between Arc L1, you can bet there's going to be quantum interdiction going on like crazy here. But if you're going to be just kind of flying, you know, you might want to see if you can pop the bubble. You know what I mean? Go ahead and set it on there. Let's go ahead and we'll just spool up. Now, there you go. You got another ship in there. Never a bad idea. Give it a scan, right? What is it? You know? Here we go again. Another mole out there. So, you know, just that type of thing. Getting familiar with these mechanics, right? Taking a little time. Monitoring the communications. You know, using zigzag scans. Doing some scouting. These are some things that are going to make a tremendous difference. So, we're just going to pop our way over to ArcCorp. And, you know, on this particular ship, I do have an XL1 drive. I don't have a lot of fancy upgraded parts on it, but I do have a very good quantum drive. You know, the quantum drive is going to, of course, make it a little bit shorter for distance for me to, a little bit of, at least quicker times for me to kind of come check things out. So there you see Blazon's like, hey, I'm coming for you, Bob. Those are the types of things, like, you know, maybe there's something going on, maybe there isn't, but you can definitely keep an eye on the chat, right? You know, you want to keep an eye on that area down there. You know, it's one of those things. It is important to kind of understand that is one of your best tools to figure out what's happening on, you know, on the server. So I would recommend, you know, kind of making a mental note where exactly is Area 18. Well, look at this. You've got a situation where you've done a quick fly, and Bajini, you know, it's never a bad idea. Let's just fly over there. Okay, so now we've done that. Buzz the tower a little bit. Let's just kind of cruise on in here. You know, and we can go ahead and, you know, really in our case, we can just go right to engines. You know what I mean? Oh, looks like we're pretty, you know, we just flew over here. There's hardly anybody around. It's excellent. So never a bad idea at this point. You know, at this point we can just kind of spin around and look for Area 18. Let's go ahead and go. Let's just buzz down there one time real quick. All right, let's. Maybe not so quick, but let's buzz down there nonetheless. So, and you know, just monitoring comms, making sure that we're not just kind of, you know, oh, I did miss a ship there. I didn't see him on my radar, but no big deal. You know, just kind of going around and making sure, you know, that you know, what do you see? Is it gnarly? Do you see a few ships in the area? What exactly is going on? You know, it's unfortunate, but it's, you know, these little things are going to become kind of important to do. Now, once again, just because you've flown over here doesn't mean you're not going to get quantum interdicted later. You know, it doesn't mean that at all. But you certainly can come down here and take a look and see what's going on. And I would suggest that you kind of, you know, this would be something that you may consider doing before you just blindly fly to one of these locations. Is it going to 100% prevent you from having a problem? No. You certainly could have a friend posted at Port, you know, at Bajini. You could have a friend kind of posted around down here as well. You know, but of course, you know, what I'm talking about specifically are the people who are going to try and sneak by a little bit. So you can see it's pretty quiet, but all of a sudden, boom, nope, I definitely see something down there. So what is it? Well, that looks like a tally, like right off the bat, right? An important thing to know, that's a talliator. That's a ship that can cause a lot of problems, you know? Great ship. And you can see here, you know, it's definitely, it's armed, right? That's a tally, and a tally in pretty darn good health. And you know those things carry very large missiles. So something to think about. You know, that thing can make short work of a C2. You know, depending on if you've got your, you know, you're ready to, you've got your countermeasures mapped, and you're ready to take that situation on. So buzzing the tower down here one time is never a bad idea, right? You know, let's just go ahead and pull back a little bit and down. Never a bad idea to buzz the tower one time. Just having a little fun here. You know, just kind of having a little fun, messing around, but mostly what you're looking for is there anybody else besides this tally down here? And that doesn't appear to be. That tally's down there. Alright, so now we've done that stuff. Now you've at least done some basic intelligence gathering. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to have problems. You know, and that's the reality of this, you know. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to have problems, but you've at least given yourself an opportunity. Now, here again, we've got somebody that we want to scan. They were there for a moment. It looks like they jumped. So let's go ahead and spool our drive. And let's, you know, kind of punch on out of here. Once again, I've got everything set to engines. I'm just kind of, nothing's on board this thing. You know, I've really got little or no risk involved with this flight. The only thing I've risked is a little bit of time, and that type of thing. Now, there are a lot of other things I want to discuss on this channel going forward, but these are the three things that I wanted to focus on today. Number one is monitoring communications. It's an important thing to do. Number two, checking to see who's on the server with you. Number three, doing some scouting between Arc L1 and Area 18, or wherever your destination is. Do a little bit of scouting. Get out there, you know, get out there and take a look. And this is for people that are more specifically trying to solo, you know, that type of thing. And then don't take a straight route. Use zigzag routing, right? So that's some basics. These basics alone, I mean, are going to help you stay out of many confrontations. It's not going to be perfect, and there's certainly you're going to find yourself in situations that you didn't expect to be in. But it is going to help. It certainly is going to be much more effective than just kind of logging on, shutting off chat, which is what those are like the first thing I do when I log on to chat is I shut it off. You know what I mean? I don't want to see what's going on globally. But unfortunately, those days have come to an end, right? I mean, that's just the way it is. You know, when 3.18 comes out, you're going to want to pay attention to chat. You're going to want to pay attention to who's flying around. You're going to want to pay attention to the little things like that, right? And you know, this little trip, I mean, is a, you know, and keep in mind, I was kind of pontificating. It's about a 10 to 12 minute commitment if you're kind of quick at it. You know, fast at it, you know what I mean? Just go run, jump in a ship, monitor comms, check out the place where you're kind of coming and going from. You know, those types of things are important, you know. And that way you're not necessarily going to just become a target. And that's what you're really looking to avoid as much as you can. So we'll go ahead and
please proceed to assign landing bag.
kind of get this guy landed, and we'll call it good. So these are the things here. Like I said, you know, this video is probably going to be around 20 minutes long, but I think you could actually have done this in about 10 to 12 minutes. That 10 to 12 minutes can save you that hours and hours and hours and hours of work. And so it's just important to understand that if you're not, if you're going to be kind of one of these self-reliant type solo players who, you know, who's trying to maybe log on an off org night, you know, let's like a late Thursday night or something, or whatever, you know, your org isn't around or whatever, you're going to try and sneak a cargo run in. At least what I did there is going to give you some kind of intelligence, some kind of a leg up over, like I said, just kind of blindly rolling the dice, you know, which I do feel like that there's some people who just kind of want to, not a tremendous amount, but who don't understand, or, you know, there should be, you know, it's going to be risky out here. You know, there is going to be some, you're going to want to at least put some situational awareness, you know, into the situation, and go from there. So here we're just kind of cruising on in. There we go. And what about a post-flight here? Are we allowed to do one this time?
Incomplete.
No.
Doesn't stay.
What the heck? You know, I don't know. Anyways, you guys, I hope that you found this information, you know, helpful to you. I can assure you that that taking a little bit of time and taking a little bit of care is going to be one of the very first and foremost ways that you can protect yourself from just getting picked off, you know, just by not just paying basic attention. So a little bit of situational awareness is going to go a long way. So anyways, thanks everybody. Please take care. And I will see you all around the verse.